my viewers, we are once again back to our lessons. The lessons about the truth. The truth of the truth about the people of Israel, original people of Israel, and the creation story is what we are going to talk about. Now we searching for the true people of Israel. We're going to talk about some of the traditions that confirms what I am going to say. In actual fact, many of us who have seen the truth, we try to condemn the Bible simply because we think the Bible is not the truth book. In actual fact, the Hebrews have a proverb which says, where the thing got lost is exactly where you can search for it. So, if the Bible has misled us, don't let us just get angry with it, but the one who has sent me will bring out the truth exactly from where it got lost. That is the Bible. Let us look at some of the traditions that confirms that the people of Israel, original people of Israel, settled down in Africa, western side of Africa, precisely South Sahara. We go into the Bible to check some of the stories. It is written in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 10 from verse 20 to 25. That was the first time, according to the story, the people of Israel asked for a king, that is a woman king, because under normal circumstance their God has been their king since the time they left some places and settled down in other places. So the story says in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 10 verse 20 to 25, and he says Samuel was the one. In fact, Samuel original name was Samuel. The original name of Samuel was Samuel, and then they added Yel to the Samuel to make it Samuel. Samuel hails from the tribe that is called, one of the Israelites tribe that is called the Gad. The Gad is what is written in the Bible, G-A-D, Gad. So when you remove the D, you get the correct pronunciation, the correct word. So when Samuel consulted the Israel God about this kingship that the people are demanding, he asked him to give it to them according to the story. And he selected and he had somebody to lead them. That person was originally called Siam, and they changed the name to Saul. He was originally called Siam. And according to the story, when he was about to be installed as a king, he hid himself somewhere. So as the people went and consulted their God, that God told them that yes, the guy has hidden himself, so they have to go and search for him. They went round looking for him, and when they found him, they brought him, and according to the story, he was a very tall man. So according to the story, someone wrote these regulations for the people of Israel to go by these regulations and form their king. So that is why the people of Israel always go in search for the person who has been nominated as king. He will first go and hide himself, and then the people will go in search for him, and when they get hold of him, they will put him on the shoulders, and then he becomes tall like the first one. So it is a regulation that was set for the people of Israel. And according to the history, it was only these people who were given this form of regulations to form their king. But as of now, if we search around the globe, we can see some people who follow these regulations that was given to only the Israelites and not any other nation under the sun. So with this, we can identify clearly who were the original people of Israel, because the people are still practicing this tradition up to now. And the people are in West Afrika. Even though many of them has moved to other lands within Africa, they still practice this particular tradition. And so to identify them, you can use this particular tradition to identify them, because every nation has its own regulations of forming a king. Every nation under the sun have its own regulations, how they form their kingship. But this particular one was for the nation of Israel. And I can tell you, when you come to Ghana, that is exactly what we practice here. So I am putting it to you who is watching me and perhaps wants to argue or challenge that if only you can tell me any nation apart from the people in West Africa here that practice this particular tradition, then if there is any other, then those people will trace their root to these people of Ghana who practices this, and they belong to the nation of Israel, because there can never be any other nation apart from this Israel. We have this. We also have another tradition that also can be found in the book of 1 Kings chapter 8 verse 2. It talks about the atonement. Atonement in the Hebrew language means odura. Odura. That is atonement. And this particular tradition is practiced once in a year. That is to sanctify the people and the nation. So Atonement Day in the records falls within this current calendar, September and October. That is the end of September to the early part of October. That is where this festival is being held. And you can find this festival only in Ghana. The atonement. If there is another nation, yes, then it means their roots are also here. Because I believe we have brothers who are in Cameroon. We have also brothers who are in Côte d'Ivoire, as well as some in Gambia and Benin. So I will not be surprised that particular tribe may also practice just as I am saying. But if you see them practicing that, You ask them where they got that tradition. Because this tradition belongs to only the nation of Israel. And if these people are not the nation of Israel, they are not the people of Israel, where did they get that tradition? Because they are the only people who practice that under the sun. So my brothers and sisters, we can search for the true people of Israel through traditions, through names, through cultures, and many other things. There are many people who claim that they belong to the nation of Israel. But you see, when you check their tradition, because the people of Israel do not give visitors cola. We do not give visitors cola. What we present to our visitors is water first, then we give them drink. You see, but there are other people whose tradition differ from the nation of Israel. So if you want to check, you can check by all these traditions. And the dress code. You see, the dress code just I've put in my clothes. This is exactly what the nation of Israel dressed. And you can check the records and see it yourself. This is how we dress. You see, but there are other tribes who have different way of dressing, which doesn't conform with the culture and tradition of that nation of Israel that I'm talking about. So please, we are seriously looking for the truth. We are not here to boast ourselves. It has been over 2,000 years that the truth has been hidden from us. And it's about time we all take serious note of what I'm talking about. And just don't think that we are just bragging or making some stories around ourselves. No. Check it for yourself. The dress code, the culture and the tradition that I've spoken about, and you can find out that there is no any other nation that claims the nation of Israel apart from people who live in Ghana here. Also, secondly, in my dream of that 7 years that I've been talking about all the time, I was challenging the one who is teaching me. Then he said to me, if you are challenging me that you are not, I am also asking you a question. And he asked me, he said, which of the nations have their coat of arms that is being described in the scriptures apart from you? Then I asked him, which coat of arms? Then he said, your coat of arms. Then I said, where can I find it? Then he quoted to me Exodus chapter 25. Then he said, from verse 17, I should read it. Then I'll come across exactly the picture of our coat of arms. So I went there and read the books. And it says this. He asked Moses to prepare a cover of the atonement cover, the covenant box, a cover of the covenant box. And this is how he said. He said, make 2 cherubims on top of the cover. Make it one piece with the cover. Let one cherubim be at the other end, and the next cherubim the next end. And he said, let these cherubim raise up their wings facing each other. And then he said, then put in it what I will give you. Then after that he said, in between the 2 cherubims that are on the ark of the covenant, I will meet with you and discuss whatever I want to say with you. So when I look at this picture, I saw that, yes, Ghana's coat of arms has 2 eagles who are facing each other. and the eagles has stretched up their wings, as the scripture describes. Then in between the two eagles, I could see a black star in between. Then he said, yes, I am the star that comes from the heavens. Check yourself. Your head, your arms, the two arms, and the two legs. That's from the 5 points of the black star that we are seeing. So I said to myself, wow, this is marvelous. So I went around the internet to check whether there are other nations who are having the same kind of coat of arms. The only close one that I saw was Trinidad and Tobago. They were having two birds, I think flamingos, one here and one at the other end. But unfortunately, they never have the black star in between the flamingos. But they are close. So now, these two can support and confirm that, yes, we are the original people of Israel. Thank you very much, my viewers. Check this and assess it too, and see whether what I'm saying is true or false. Because all I am doing is to bring the people of Israel together to know themselves and know that they are not just slaves, they are royalty on this planet. Thank you. Thank you very much.